Welcome to the vlog. I just got a brand new starter jacket. Believe it or not, this jacket was actually on back order. I had a really hard time getting it. For those of you that are a little older like me, you remember the starter jackets, the shiny bomber jackets. I wore this back when I was in 7th grade, and so I'm stoked to get it. I'm a big Chicago Bulls fan. What's real interesting about starter, and what I've kind of been watching and tracking as I'm doing a lot of branding and marketing work, what's really interesting is I wore this kind of stuff when I was in 7th grade, and now we're seeing starter come back. And so it's interesting to see how starter has built a brand and how much that outlasts sales, even though starter has spent the last probably 15 or 20 years probably either in bankruptcy or almost in bankruptcy. It's funny how now they're making a comeback, not only making a comeback, but for 30-year-old men to be back wearing starter jackets. And I can remember the branding and nostalgia from when I was a kid. So this ties a lot into what we're trying to do in building a brand and not just doing specific marketing. And so you'll see a lot about what happens this week and the meetings that we're having to try and do that with our company here. All right, today we had our weekly meeting. This is volume 3. We've been working on the customer experience and the customer journey for the past 3 weeks now. They've been hour to hour and a half long meetings, a lot of really good stuff. An overwhelming amount of our people have kids. Compared to like Phoenix and Orange County, we had more kids and way more highly educated. Like education was way higher here than it was in any of those other places.
That actually doesn't surprise me here.
That doesn't surprise me at all. So also it was about 60-40 men to women.
Men more?
Yeah. So that probably wouldn't surprise you, it surprised me. Sometimes it's interesting for me to navigate those when I've got 5 really smart people in here. Everyone's got their own ideas. Not everyone agrees with all those ideas, and so you kind of got to put ideas on a board, whittle them down, and navigate that a little bit. Today, mainly what we were talking about, obviously part of the customer experience is going to be the people that are implementing those things that you put in place. And so that goes specifically to hiring and training, or onboarding and training, and who are the people that are delivering that. So we've learned a lot in the past 10 years about what type of person we want to have working here. And the main thing we're doing right now are our people that go out and deliver the service, that are face-to-face with customers. There's a couple of problems we're trying to solve, and that's what we were talking about today. So the main thing is what can they do to bring more value? The majority of our customers are not home, and so we're trying to figure out how to bring value to those people. I think there's some cool things with today's technology that we can do to bring value to the people that are not home and don't see what we're doing. And then trying to determine how to make their job so that they are here, they get out of it what they want, they're able to make a decent wage to support themselves or their families, and they're motivated by whatever it is that motivates employees. There's different opinions on that. But whatever it is that motivates them to provide that customer experience that we're trying to give, we're essentially trying to 10x what the customer value is. They get 10 times what they're paying us back. And so there's a lot, I think, really good ideas. Some have to do with their schedule. Some have to do with the amount they're paid, specifically how they're paid. If they're just paid a one specific wage, or if they're paid other bonuses on top of that or incentives. And so I think we're really close to getting that done. So that's what we met about today. We've definitely decided how we're going to get people scheduled. Tomorrow we're going to meet again because we didn't get as far as we wanted to today. And we're going to iron out kind of the final pieces of the puzzle of how guys are going to be paid, ways that we're going to incentivize them. I think we're going to do some cool things with sending text messages with pictures and some information to customers who are not home and don't see us. That way we're still able to have a conversation with them and they can understand what's happening at their house. Next step after that is then really dive into the what we're going to have them execute and do, what types of things are really going to provide extra value. We want to be the premier customer service company, but also obviously the premier pest control company by default, in the way that we give people 10 times the value. This week for No Filter Friday, I want to talk about providing extra value for your employees. So don't just try and 10x your service or your product. 10x the value you're giving your employees, and they'll do a way better job for you in the long run.
I like it.
That was less than 60, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I like that second one better. I think one of the things I can really get better at, if I'm really honest, is navigating. I'm pretty black and white sometimes, which is not always good when you're managing different personalities. I find myself to be a little bit abrasive sometimes in how I react to people, and different personalities, I see their faces kind of shut down. When I'm certainly not trying to do that, I'm really just trying to navigate people's opinions and say, let's not talk about that. That's not important to this conversation, and let's talk more about this. So something I'm trying to fix and work on. But I think when you're running a small business, it's important to have at least a couple of key people around you that are probably, at least in certain areas, smarter than you. That's certainly the case for me. There's also people around me that are actually in the trenches more than I am at this point, and that have a lot more valuable feedback for me as far as what's going to motivate our people, what are our customers talking about, what's going to be most important to them, and how we can create an experience to where they're never going to want to leave, never going to want to cancel. But most importantly for us this year is, how do I create an experience that they're talking about it and they're telling their friends about it, and that we're picking up more business that way. So for me, this is a huge marketing strategy that I think that if I'm giving a good enough service, that I'm being talked about, and that should be more effective. Word of mouth should be more effective than anything else I do. All right, good morning, Thursday morning. Been here since 6:45 today, and so a lot of things going on. Came in this morning, had a meeting with my termite guys, and so I do that every single day still trying to be hands-on and kind of figure out how that program is working out. So far, going really, really well. So I meet with those guys 7:30. Try to get a couple things done after that before we have a huddle every single day with all of our people. I have a huddle 9:30 with everybody. Got another one after that to go over marketing stuff. And so just so much stuff that we're going on trying to figure out. And so you'll see some of the stuff that we're hashing out on the board. I think there's some cool, exciting stuff going on. So right now I am doing a little bit of education training stuff online. So I'm trying to knock some of that stuff out. A few of the little just simple to-do list items on just my regular to-do list that I've got to get done. And then we've got some meetings this afternoon. So I'll show you what some of that kind of looks like, so you can kind of see what I'm kind of doing. A lot of what I'm doing as a small business owner is sitting right here at that desk, at those computers, either meeting with people, which is what we did a lot yesterday for a long time, or just sitting knocking stuff out on my computer. So that's what a lot of them. It's just me running the business, and it's not always terribly exciting. All right, it's now about lunchtime. I've got a little chicken, a little sweet potato, a little asparagus. I try not to leave for lunch. I'm so busy here that I try and stay here, so anytime I can bring food. Although I don't like making food, sometimes we buy and kind of try and, I don't really prep it, somebody preps it for me. But that way I can bring it, I can sit in here, I can still work. I have a weekly conference call that will go, one at 1 o'clock, one at 1:30, and one at 2 o'clock. That's kind of my busy conference call time, is on Thursdays. And so about 12:15, just finished up some kind of online education, whether it's like reading books, which you can see in my special fancy bookcase. It's a lot of books. Those are all new books that I haven't read. I just got all the books that I have read out of here. Anything from stories of different people. I like military type stories. some self-help stuff, and then you've got like just pure accounting, marketing, branding, just business books, stuff like that. So whether it's through books or there's some kind of different education course online, I'm just trying to constantly educate myself and get better. I won't really get into that, but I think the world associates being smart and educated with having to go to college and getting that from school. I think that's education is something that has to continue. So in my business and whatever else that I'm doing, I'm trying to always better myself and get better, give myself more knowledge. Even if I'm not doing it specifically, I like to know exactly what I'm doing. So when I sit down with my accountant, I actually know what I'm talking about and can ask legitimate questions instead of trusting someone. To just know, I think people get in trouble that way. Plus, I just like to keep the brain moving. I don't think that I think I've had to work pretty hard to continue to educate myself. So wrap that up. Got lunch now, and then have those conference calls a little bit later. All right, conference calls and meetings wrapped up, even though our second conference call didn't happen. And it is almost 3 o'clock. This is sacred gym time, same ritual every day. Got my shaker ready to go. Gym time for me is it's like brushing my teeth. This just gotta happen. Plus, because I'm a guy with 3 kids, because I'm running a business, because when I'm in here, there's people coming in and out of here, it's all meetings. If you look at my to-do list in here, it is not done. And the majority of the things that I want to get accomplished, I probably have to get those done late tonight at my house. Just because when I'm here, not a whole lot gets done. And I'm constantly meeting with people, which is good. We're coming up with different things, but there's not a lot of my to-do list that gets accomplished. Lots of things get pushed day to day. So, but it's a good day overall. Good meetings, figured out some things. There's some quick and easy things I can get done that will move things along. Yeah, so from about 3 o'clock on, 3:30 to 4:30, I'm at the gym. Then I'll head home, probably let my wife go to the gym, take over kid duty with all 3 kids, one of which is really sick right now with the croup, which is laryngitis. Laryngitis in adults is croup for kids. So my 5-year-old is real sick, not doing very good. And so anyway, so we're dealing with that at home. And then usually what happens is we're all home, dinner, bath time, bedtime for all kids. We get kids to bed. Finally, it feels quiet. Then we gotta clean up the house, do the dishes. Everyone knows. It's the general parent stuff. And then we'll sit down, try and spend some time together with my wife. We watch a lot of TV, a lot of movies. We go to a lot of movies. That's kind of our hobby. And so we'll do that. I will generally have my laptop out and I'll be working, trying to get my to-do list done that I didn't get done during the day. And occasionally I'm staying up even later to get those things accomplished. And then wake up and do it all over again. So, my hobby and my pastime, my friends, kind of exist here, and that's who I spend my time with. There's not a lot of other time to do a lot of other things, but that's okay. Gym time is my time, and I love what I do enough that that's okay. So you hear people talk about loving what you do. It's not everything that I do I love. Instead, I love what I do and who I do it with. And so once you find that, life gets a lot better. Especially if you're starting a business, you got to make sure you can find what about that business that you love in order to do it for a long period of time. And so that's all for today. Tomorrow's Friday. Got some more just general things to get done. It'll honestly be a little bit of a slow Friday going into the weekend. So 2:53, I got to change, get over to the gym. Man, clearly I like gray. All right, changed, ready for the gym. I leave the office the same time every single day. It kind of works out nice. I'm kind of here 6:30 in the morning. I'm here when I'm basically the first people get here, and then I'm here all the way until about now. Things are kind of winding down. A lot of our guys in the field are kind of completing their day. And so I take off then, get the gym done. That allows me to get home in time for dinner, bedtime, and all that stuff with my kids. That's one thing that we've really done really well, is that my wife said, and I posted today on Instagram, today's Thursday, a video or a picture of me from way back in the day. The one thing my wife always told me is, I don't care if you work before or after, well, as soon as we had kids, that you're home 6 to 8, you're home for dinner, bedtime. So it's been a pretty sacred time for us. So lack of sleeping, gym, work, whatever, it's all planned around that 6 to 8 time frame. So it was important to me too, not just my wife. It wasn't just it was her. I wanted to make sure that I was dedicating as much time to being home and my kids as I was to building this business. And if I couldn't do both, I didn't want to do both. So that's kind of how my day generally ends.